5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi guys, you got some more from KZOR. This is KZOR from Cape Town. How you doing? Listen, I got a nice little video today. I actually met the man behind Triple X, and I'm not talking about that Triple X. I'm talking about that Triple X. Cool, man. I actually contacted Benji from Vapour Mountain and asked him if it would be fine if I actually did a little tour, had a little interview with him, asked him a few questions, and he actually agreed. And yes, this afternoon was the big day. So yeah, why would I want to do a interview or a video on Vapour Mountain? Simply because they have won a few awards, and I think it's definitely worthwhile doing an interview behind the guy that actually got awarded that and got awarded that and got awarded that. So yeah, it's awesome stuff. So with no further ado, let's see what actually happened at Vapour Mountain. And while you guys watch the video, I will be enjoying my Hotsig R150 high-end mod together with my Apocalypse for a change. Nice matchy. And I will be vaping a bit of Django, one of my sweet mango juices which I made. So guys, enjoy the trip.
Hallo.
Gaat het goed?
Goed, dankie, Sa.
Lekker, kan nie klaar nie. Vriendelik is julle.
Ja, nee, kan.
Ek sal 'n bietjie afneem ook vir die mense dat hulle kan sien hoe lyk dit hier in julle winkeltjie. Oulik, nice
Ja.
TV'tjie daar.
Front of shop.
Dis front of shop ja. So terwyl jy nou hier is, jy kan sommer vir die mense sê, is dit lekker om vir Benji te werk?
Dit is ongelooflik lekker. Hulle is die beste baas ooit.
Kyk, hy lekker Vapour Mountain impie daarso. Cool. Nice apparel. Die juices wat die man hier so het. Lekker, look at all die Vapour Mountain souse. Juice lines. Ah, sy lekker man Benji. Nou daar by jou. Ek vir die mense gaan wys wat daar op jou rak is. Right guys, I'm here with Benji, the owner, the originator, the Columbus of Vapour Mountain in Cape Town. And he provided us with the courtesy of actually coming to film him, do a short interview on him, and show some basic sections of his company. So yeah, Benji, thank you very much. I'm going to put my hand through so the guys can actually see it there.
Thanks, Luke.
For allowing us to see this. I think there's a lot of guys on the forum that's extremely excited about this. I think it's the first time in South Africa with something of this is being done there. So I'm going to hit away with a few questions which the guys are interested in. The first one is just a short summary of yourself, a bit of history behind you as a person, where you grew up, brothers, sisters, etc.
Sure, 40 years ago. I was born in Caledon, Western Cape. Grew up in a very small town called Rivier on the End, on the Garden Route, very pretty town. I think we left Rivier on the End when I was about 14 years old. Came to Cape Town, went to school, Hoërskool Tygerberg. Matriculated. Then I went to study civil engineering for about a year and a half, and thought it was not really what I wanted to do in my life. From there I went into IT, and after studies I started working in the IT field. So almost 20 years in IT later. I worked at a company called KPMG, one of the big 4 tax and audit firms. I was the IT manager until the day that I went full-time into e-liquid production. One brother, so small family, married. Wife's name is Crystal. She's my partner in the business. And we've got one son and baby girl just born a couple of days ago.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Excellent. So where does the Nick Opa come from?
Opa, yeah, that's something that stuck since school. I ask my friends often, and I think half of them can't even remember why and how. I don't know. it was probably after a few beers and very deep discussions.
I mean, it's got to be something about you had to be slow at something because you don't have the receding hairline
Not
on the
really.
open.
I think it had to do with my wisdom.
Oh, well, that makes more sense. The Triple X has been a huge part of the Vapour Mountain success. How did this come about?
Sort of accidental. A very good friend of mine that also liked to do some DIY, and myself, we used to vape one of the plain berry flavors, one of the ingredients in Triple X, and I've always been a bit of a menthol fanatic. Not a fanatic, but I like my menthol juices, although I could never smoke menthol. So it was accidental, with half a tank of something left and add something else, and between myself and him, he came up with part of it, and I changed some of it, and I changed some of it, and he gave some advice, and eventually it came about. It was the first VapeCon in Joburg. They had the juice shootout, 2015, I think you said it was. Yeah, and we decided, spur of the moment, to enter that specific juice. I actually had another juice lined up, and we won. Yeah. So, yeah.
We often see posts on the forum of Rob Fisher advertising liters of the stuff which he buys. I think it's about 1.8 liters he buys at a time. So he says, so is Rob Fisher your biggest client concerning Triple X?
He is probably the biggest recurring order we have, both in size and the how often he does order. We have one or two customers in Australia that buy VM4 and Triple X. Also, not sure if it's only for themselves or for friends and family. Not as often as Rob Fisher.
Okay.
But definitely is the single biggest retail customer. Obviously can't compare to the wholesale customers.
So if I'll have a look at this nice Fortuner which you have outside there, which part of that Fortuner did Rob finance?
I'd say the back left tire.
Great stuff. Okay, number 5, what are your thoughts on the current state of the juice manufacturing in South Africa?
Exciting, in one word. I think there's a lot of the bigger guys that's growing very fast. The industry is growing very fast. The demand is becoming massive. And then you've got your smaller guys entering the market, which I think is difficult at the moment. There's so many juice brands and juice labels going around. It's a bit intimidating for the guys. There's lots of pressure from the bigger guys concerning the premises, their lab setup, and so forth. I think the important thing is that everyone started small, be it in their living room, in a study, a small office, whatever the case is. So you got to start somewhere. Not everyone can throw hundreds of thousands of rands at it right from the start. So it's difficult. I would say if you really believe in your juice and it's good quality, you've had family and friends test it even before you start selling it, or if you just sell to family and friends. Nothing's free. And if you have good feedback, go for it.
How instrumental is the role e-cig SA plays in the success of Vapour Mountain besides that competition?
I think massive, especially for us being a manufacturer and a wholesale supplier first and foremost. Our retail part is a very small part of our business. It's mostly because of demand from customers that come and collect, retail customers that come and collect e-liquid from us directly, wanted us to have a more complete solution. But I'd say for a customer like us on e-cig SA, the exposure to all the other vape shops, other retail stores, it's massive exposure for us, obviously. And then second to also your average Joe in the street that's on the forum. e-cig SA, massive. We've been there since the start. I joined the forum, I think it was less than 100 members on the forum when I joined. Very, very, very small and close community back then.
So, who is all part of the Vapour Mountain task team on a daily basis?
We're currently 5 full-time employees, and then we've got 2 part-time employees that that's contracted as we might need them. I've got Chanel that's in admin, back office. She also helps customers in front, retail customers that walk into the shop. Myself in the lab. I've got Trevor in the lab with me.
Is that your father-in-law?
That is my father-in-law, yes.
Okay.
Also a very avid vapor and vaping enthusiast. Hanli, which is also a girl that helps us a lot. She does anything from labeling to bottle washing, making a cup of tea even, so and then Crystal, my wife, that takes care of a lot of the finances and billing and admin and back office stuff. Often his name's Damien. People would have met him at VapeCon. He always travels with us when we go to conventions.
What route would you have taken if vaping was never invented? What would you have done?
Well, probably what I've been doing the past 20 years before doing this full time is IT. Got pretty tired of it, so it was still a very big decision to after spending almost 20 years in a certain direction, something that you've built towards and that you've done your whole life, and to just change that. So,
okay, now here's a question I'm very interested in, and is what are your thoughts on the acetal?
The acetal stuff's good, man. Well, that's probably a topic that we could talk about for a very long time. It's something that I have researched quite extensively. Bottom line is we don't put it in our juice. We had before, lots of companies have used it, still use it. I made the decision to remove it from our juice lines. It's just the way the industry is going. It's what people want to see, it's what they want to hear. Unfortunately, it's got a bad rap. Personal opinion, for the wrong reasons, without substantial evidence. Would I, or do I vape it myself? Yes, I do. I love it.
Yeah.
So,
No, I know. I use sugar cookie version 1, and that's awesome.
Yes.
I know it's awesome. Makes a big difference.
but again, you've got the power. People have the power to firstly request what is in the juice, and they've got the right to know what they're vaping and decide for themselves what they want to vape. So.
Totally agree. Number 10, favorite juice and setup.
Oh, that's easy. Triple X. Currently vaping on Billet Box. Authentic.
Authentic.
Not that it does matter. Billet Box is such a crisp vape. It's I quite enjoy it. It's easy to run. It's easy to maintain. It's nice and refreshing after fiddling with lots of RTAs and never got into drippers quite hectically. Had 2 or 3 before. I still have 1 or 2. This is absolute perfect package for running around.
There's
with.
some brilliant advertising for the Billet Box. All right, are there any new flavors which you will be releasing in the near future?
Lou, you've probably noticed we don't release flavors often. I like to do quite a bit of testing and rehashing and make absolutely sure before I release something, and also don't like to jump onto a bandwagon. Strawberry milkshake comes out and I make a strawberry milkshake. Yeah. That's fine, people do that. I like to do something unique. I'd like to feel, Triple X was the only type, the type of juice that it is. It was the only type that was like that when I made it. Today there's a few things similar, with fruits with menthol, basically. But we've got two flavors that's pretty close to release. They will definitely be released. For the menthol fans, yes.
There you go.
It's another menthol that I spent. It's probably 8 months in the making, 7 to 8 months in the making. So I am really holding thumbs that people will enjoy it. I think I've still got. You can have one.
Wow! So I will have the privilege of testing this just now in my dripper. Brilliant.
So that will definitely hit the market. Hopefully in the next month or so.
Try me. Awesome.
Very refreshing. I would like to think similar kind of style as Triple X.
Okay.
Obviously slightly different, but similar style. And then we've got another, let's call it a dessert / sweetie type juice, which we have never really been
Yeah.
famous for. We've got the slice range and the Aztec range, one flavor in each so far. That's slowly getting into the market. It's, as I said, we've never been really famous for our dessert juices, but I'm hoping that this one would be good.
Great stuff, man. And I saw the other day when I was here, you had a new design for your bottles. And also you posted on the forums. Do you quickly want to elaborate on those new designs? What made you want to, is it just felt like a new change or something inspired you?
Yes, so people can have I've done have a sample bottle here. As you can see, all our labels, these are the last of our previous style labels that we're still working out. This is the Triple X. The rest of the range all have a similar look with slight differences.
Almost like a honeycomb.
Yes. Triple X, I wanted to stand out a bit for obvious reasons. And it's also the one that took the longest to come up with a concept and a design. So between myself and a graphic designer, we spent quite a few late nights and into early mornings coming up with this idea. It looks simple, but trust me, it wasn't so easy to come up with it. So the whole thing about it is getting hooked, and it's barbed wire. Hakiestraat.
Yeah, nee, prachtig.
So it's getting hooked, and we've also got you've got the 3 X's there, and you've got a throwback to coils, glowing coils. It's it's the color of the berries that would be in Triple X.
Where do you see the future of vaping heading in South Africa?
Vaping in South Africa. Well, it's exciting times. I think people don't want to hear it, and they believe we're very, we're not far behind. USA, Europe, but I think we're still a year or two behind them. Although you can get similar or the same technology and devices, but in terms of juice and juice market and manufacturing, we're probably still a year or two off. But lots happening. There's already been high-level talk regarding regulations, and the Vapour Product Association of South Africa. They have done quite a bit of work already with some key players, role players in government as well as health organisations around it. And I think we're heading in the right direction. I think it's in good hands. The important thing is for all the role players from the manufacturing and the retailer side also to get on board and assist where they can.
All right. There's probably a lot of enthusiasts on the forum which admire big guys like you. What advice would you give them for those guys who actually want to start in the production business?
I would say if you have a product that, as I said before, and like you've said before, is if they believe in a product and they've had people try it and they have good feedback, it's no point in just coming up with something that you like and you think you can sell it. It's first and foremost, it's research a lot. There's a lot to learn about juice making, DIY. It's easy to throw a juice together, but to do something that'll last and that'll appeal to people is not easy. Get as many people as possible to taste it before you even try and market your stuff.
And your worst customer experience?
Worst customer experience?
Probably Rob Fisher.
No. Rob is an easy customer. We often get people from the older generations coming in and wanting to make the change. So quite a few funny stories already. We had an older gentleman coming once. He had some lung issues and he wanted to change, and he bought a whole starter pack. I can't even remember what the setup was. And e-liquid and everything, off he went. He wanted to go and sit at home and read the manual and do the whole thing. He didn't want us to show him anything. And the next day he came back and he said, but the device is leaking. And it turned out he never put a coil in it. So it was just an empty tank, no coil, filled up with juice and just leaking. And I was adamant there was something wrong with it. So things like that, I guess.
Okay, then there's one last question. Would you mind if I have the recipe for Triple X?
Recipe for
Yeah,
chocolate.
please, man. Yeah, I think I promised my father-in-law I'll make him something, and I think it's nice.
You know what? As long as you don't share it, give it to you.
Great stuff, man. Great
Just
stuff. I told him, I know
jot it
everyone
down,
says
yeah.
you're a great person. Now I know you're an awesome guy.
No worries.
Okay.
It's a long recipe, but
Yeah.
just write it
Is,
down.
is that FA or is it TFA?
TFA.
Okay,
sorry.
TFA. Cool, cool. There you go. Oh my word, I never knew that was in there. That's
There we
very
go.
interesting.
And then, can
Yo.
you believe that?
And the nick,
There we go.
three, brilliant.
Shot,
That's
man.
great stuff. Thanks a lot, Benji. Yeah, do appreciate it.
You're
Let's get
welcome.
inside. Right, I've decided to ask Benji one more question, which I almost forgot about, but I think it's a very good question for all guys like me that love making juices, but the newcomers always think juices have to be extremely complex. So I'm going to ask Benji, of all the juices which you guys see here, which I previously filmed, Benji, could you please tell us how many ingredients is in your most complex juice?
The most complex one.
Yeah, the complex one.
I'd say it's VM4.
Okay.
We've got 8.
8. Nice, nice. And the simplest one?
I must be careful. Simplest one is 2.
All right, just 2. Well done.
Yeah.
So there you can actually see, the guys, it's very easy to make a very good juice. I mean, if Vapour Mountain sells them, guys, you just have to get your combination right, your label correct, and then your steeping process correct.
Something like Triple X 5.
There you go. Brilliant
Guess
stuff.
was right.
All right, let's go inside.
Cool.
Okay, guys, we entered that specific door from the front shop which we were in, and now we're inside the hygienic laboratory. And if you go up the stairs, there's a storage area. All right, got a nice little bulb over there, steeping bulb. And then if you go down there, there's the father-in-law that we're talking about. Here's all the containers, the bottles that I assume which was washed, pre-cleaned, etc. And inside this little room is where all the magic happens. But I can maybe go closer to the window, but I'm not going to go inside the room. I'm not even going to ask Benji.
You can go into the first room.
In the first room. All right. Okay, so this room. And I'm just going to, just for Silver, so you can actually see there. There's Opa now in his white coat, Silver, so I hope you're happy. And if we go inside there, this is the wash-up room, which he has. So yeah, guys, so for all you youngsters like me that actually think of selling our juices to certain vendors, this is what they require, is a hygienic laboratory. So for us cheapskates who do not want to put out these expenses, forget about it. Do it for yourself. Okay, here's the new labels for those guys who missed it. And excellent stuff. All right. So Benji actually allowed us to actually to film him inside with his coat and all his flavorings over there. And yeah, this is what it looks like on the inside. So yeah, Benji, that's golden. Thank you very much. Right, guys, so there was that. I hope you guys enjoyed it though. I just want to thank Benji again though, and his father-in-law. Tremendous guys. After the video I was actually offered a beer because it was Friday and work was done, so I enjoyed it and I had a nice little chat there. So yeah, kudos to Benji, and I hope you guys on the forums who actually were interested in Vapour Mountain actually learned something about it. I learned a lot and I really enjoyed the tour. Alright, this guys are signing off. Cheers up.